This year I'm planning on doubling the size of the Back to Eden garden. This is our current Back to Eden garden over here. It's on the west side of the raised beds, and it's been here for 4 years, but it's too small to raise all the vegetables that we want to raise on it. We plant squash up against this raised bed here, and they take over this whole area, but we can't get all of them in that we want to, so we're going to expand out, and all this grass area on this side of the raised beds, all the way from here clear up to this corner, is all going to become Back to Eden garden. We're going to get a lot more space to grow fruits and vegetables and whatever else we plant in here. And this area in the front will also be included in this Back to Eden. So we'll have a lot more area. It'll probably be twice or maybe 3 times the size when we get all of this covered with wood chips, and give us a lot more capability for growing our big vegetables that we like to grow. We have 1 load of wood chips delivered and ready to start putting down. We have 3 more loads coming, which should give us enough to make all the area that we want to cover with up to 8 inches of wood chips. Before putting the wood chips down to start the Back to Eden garden, we're going to cover the ground with cardboard, which will smother the grass and the weeds that's under there. And then we're going to cover this cardboard with about 8 inches of wood chips, and that will decay over time. The cardboard will decay, the worms will eat it, and then this tractor is going to be my helper in spreading all of these wood chips. Can't wait to get this started. Here we go. The first truckload of wood chips that we got yesterday have been put down, covered all of the cardboard, and they're looking good. They're a little thick right now, but as soon as it rains, they'll pack down to be about 10 inches high, and then that will be just perfect for our Back to Eden garden. So we're waiting for the tree service now to bring us a couple more loads of wood chips, and then we'll finish the rest of this area. Last week we had a real strong storm came through, took down a lot of trees. So the tree services are very busy, and it's a very good time to get some wood chips. This is one of my new rhubarb plants that I put in this year. It's a Glaskin's perpetual rhubarb. There's 3 of them here, and they're doing really well in spite of the heat that we've had up in the 90s for the past week or so. And around the other side of the garden are some gooseberry trees or bushes that I put in this year. And the area out there is where the wood chips will be dumped in a few days, and then we'll be ready to go again and finish off this area with a new Back to Eden garden. Ran out of cardboard boxes to put down under the wood chips, so I went to the furniture store today and got another load of them. Jeep is packed about as full as can be with cardboard boxes, so this ought to get us going again and get us ready to get some more wood chips down. We've had a lot of delays in getting the Back to Eden garden finished this summer as we had expected, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this video because we can't get any more wood chips right now. So I'll show you how far we've gotten with the project, and it'll probably wait now until next spring to get finished. But we have it almost up to the edge of the original raised bed garden, and it's looking really good where we do have it. And as you can see, the squash has taken over the Back to Eden, as I had indicated earlier it will do. These up front here are some young butternut squash. This big one in the back is a cushaw squash, and it has really taken off. It has taken most of the bed, and if you've never raised a cushaw squash, they are a delicious winter squash. They weigh 15 to 20 pounds a piece. They make wonderful pies, and I'll show you some of the cushaw they're laying down inside of the plants here. There's one there. There's another one over there. There's yet another one down here. There are a total of 17 of them in this bed at the present time, and they grow wonderfully on these wood chips because the wood chips hold in the moisture that they like to have. Also in here is a banana squash, and I'll get to that on the other side. You can see one of them here. There it is here. It's a yellow banana squash, but I'll show you the big one on the other side. But overall, I'm very happy with this back to Eden section of the garden and think it's doing exceptionally well. The raised beds adjacent to it are getting crowded out by the squash plants. Here's a young butternut squash starting to form. We'll walk through the arbor here, go over to the other side, and I'll show you one of the banana squash that is growing on this bed of wood chips. I think I can move a leaf and show you the banana squash hiding down in here. These banana squash get up to 4 feet long and weigh 40 pounds, up to 40 pounds each. They're also excellent winter squash. They make great roasted squash as well as pie. The pie that you make from these squash, both the cushaw and the banana squash, taste exactly like a pumpkin squash, and I think they're actually better than a pumpkin squash. Show you a couple of the blooms on the plant. This is a male bloom, so there will not be a squash plant forming there. On the very edge of the back to Eden garden are my rhubarb plants. These are Glaskin's perpetual rhubarb. There are 3 of them down here. And these I started from seed this spring, and they have really taken off and they're growing just wonderful. We've had a lot of pie from them this year, and we'll have even more next year. And then on this end of the bed is the poor man gooseberry. I have 2 of those in here. These again were started this spring from cuttings, so they're very small, but next year they will produce fruit. So this area has not yet been completed with the back to Eden, and that should be done this next spring. As I said, we're having difficulty getting wood chips right now, and we've gotten into the fall wet season, so it's getting too wet for the big trucks to get in here and dump the chips. So this portion of the back to Eden will probably be not finished until next spring, and we're going to see how things go. I'll show off my autumn clematis here. If you've never seen one of these, they are an absolutely wonderful pollinator plant, and they smell so sweet. The entire backyard is filled with the beautiful smell of this clematis plant. It is a perennial. It comes back every year and gets bigger and bigger as the year goes on. So that concludes our back to Eden garden upgrade.